Step away from the car, the officer demanded, his hand hovering near his gun. He was certain the black woman before him could never own a luxury Aston Martin. Shoppers stopped, filming, already whispering about her guilt. She stood calm, but inside her bag was something that could destroy his career in seconds. When she pulled it out, the crowd gasped. How could one small piece of plastic change everything? Step away from the car, the officer demanded, his voice sharp enough to slice through the warm afternoon air. His hand hovered just above his gun, eyes locked on the woman standing beside the sleek, midnight blue Aston Martin. Naomi Carter froze, her fingers still wrapped around a small shopping bag. She had only come to pick up a gift for her goddaughter. Now, dozens of strangers were staring at her as if she were a criminal. Phones were raised. Murmurs filled the air. This car matches a stolen vehicle report, the officer barked. Hands on the hood, now. Naomi slowly set down her bag, then her leather purse. She raised her hands, keeping her voice calm. Officer, there's been a mistake. No mistake, he interrupted, circling the car like a wolf. A woman dressed like you, driving a car worth more than most houses. I think we both know what's going on here. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone whispered, "Oh no." Another muttered, "Why's he talking like that?" But no one stepped forward. Through the driver's window, a black leather case sat on the passenger seat. Its gold seal was barely visible beneath scattered papers. Naomi's heart pounded. She knew this would not just be another traffic stop. The videos, the headlines, it would all explode online. She took a slow breath. In her bag was the one thing that could end this man's career in seconds. When she pulled it out, the crowd gasped. How could one small piece of plastic change everything? The answer was simple, but devastating. That piece of plastic was her official state Supreme Court judge ID, proof that she was not only innocent but one of the highest-ranking judges in the state. The same officer humiliating her in public had sworn to uphold the law she represented. And in that moment, Naomi realized, he had no idea who he was dealing with. The parking lot was so quiet Naomi could hear her own pulse. Her hand slipped into the purse, fingers brushing against the cool plastic of the ID. She had spent years earning it, long nights studying law, endless trials, battles against prejudice. And now, one arrogant man's assumption threatened to reduce all of it to nothing. Slowly, Officer Keller warned, his voice low but sharp. Don't make me think you're reaching for something dangerous. Naomi froze, her eyes locked on his. The only thing dangerous here, officer, is your assumption. A few bystanders shifted uncomfortably. One young man muttered, "She's not even resisting." Another woman whispered, "Why's he acting like she's a threat?" The tension spread like a crack in glass. Keller stepped closer, his shadow falling over her. "We'll see what's in that bag after I cuff you." Turn around, Naomi didn't move. She drew the ID from her purse in one smooth motion and held it up high for everyone to see. The sunlight hit the gold lettering, State Supreme Court. Judge Naomi Carter. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. Then the whispers started. "Wait, she's a judge. Oh my God, is he serious?" Keller's jaw tightened, but his eyes darted to the ID, then to the crowd. He reached for it, but Naomi pulled it back. "You just tried to arrest a sitting judge without cause," she said, her voice steady but cutting. "And you did it in front of witnesses. Do you understand the magnitude of that?" A man in the crowd stepped forward. "Ma'am, I've got the whole thing recorded. Every word." Keller's face flushed, his authority crumbling under the weight of his mistake. I need to verify." "You'll do no such thing," Naomi interrupted, slipping the ID back into her purse. "You will, however, take your hands off your weapon, step back, and pray that your chief hears my version before he sees that video." Her calmness was colder than anger, and it cut deeper. Keller took one slow step back, but the humiliation was already carved into his face. The silence in the parking lot shattered when the Whale of Sirens echoed from down the street. A black SUV with tinted windows pulled up fast, followed by a second and third. The doors swung open, and 3 courthouse security officers stepped out, their eyes scanning the crowd. "Judge Carter," one of them called. "We've been looking everywhere for you." Gasps rippled through the bystanders. Phones tilted higher, cameras zooming in. The man who had filmed everything earlier whispered to the person beside him, "This is about to go viral." Keller stiffened, his hand dropping completely from his holster. "Judge," he muttered under his breath, but his voice was swallowed by the growing noise around them. Naomi didn't look at him. She walked toward the approaching officers with measured, deliberate steps, her dignity unshaken. One of the security men leaned closer and asked quietly, "Are you all right, ma'am?" "I am now," she replied, but her tone carried an edge that made Keller flinch even from several feet away. Behind her, a woman in the crowd shouted, "Hey, officer! How's that stolen car report looking now?" Laughter and murmurs followed. Keller's face flushed red. The courthouse officers turned their attention to him. "Officer Keller, we'll need your badge number and report. Now." He swallowed hard. "I was responding to a possible stolen vehicle." She matched what? Naomi cut in, turning to face him fully. Her voice rose, not in anger, but in power. "Match the color of your prejudice. Match the false image you built in your mind the second you saw me." The crowd reacted audibly. Some clapped softly, others shook their heads. One security officer spoke firmly. "You detained a sitting state Supreme Court judge without cause, in public, and under clear bias. That is a serious matter, Officer Keller." A man stepped forward, holding his phone up. "I've got the whole thing recorded, start to finish. And I'll be sending it to every news outlet in the state." Keller's lips pressed into a thin line. The authority he once wielded was gone. Around him, the crowd no longer saw protector, they saw the beginning of a public disgrace. The air was heavy, charged with the weight of what had just unfolded. Officer Keller's radio crackled, but he did not reach for it. He could feel every camera trained on him, every whisper slicing deeper into his pride. Naomi stood tall, her posture unshaken. "Officer Keller," she said evenly, "when you put your hand on that gun and assumed I was a criminal, you did more than insult me. You dishonored the badge you wear." The lead courthouse security officer stepped forward. "Per protocol, officer, you are relieved of duty pending investigation. Please surrender your badge and firearm." A hush fell over the crowd. Keller's mouth opened, but no words came. His hands moved slowly, unclipping his badge, then unholstering his sidearm. He placed them in the officer's outstretched hands, his movements stiff and mechanical. Phones zoomed in, capturing every second. Somewhere in the back, a voice said, "This is justice." Naomi's gaze never left his. "You see, Officer Keller," she said, her tone almost soft, "power is not about the weapon on your hip. It is about knowing the truth before you act. Today, you showed the world you have neither." The security team escorted her toward the waiting SUV. As she walked, people stepped aside, some nodding in quiet respect. One woman in the crowd called out, "Thank you, Judge Carter." Naomi allowed herself the smallest of smiles. Before stepping into the vehicle, she turned once more to the crowd. "Let this be a reminder," she said clearly, "that the law does not bend to prejudice, and dignity cannot be stolen." The SUV door closed, and the convoy pulled away, leaving Keller standing alone in the center of the lot. His badge was gone, his weapon gone, and by nightfall, so would be his career. Within hours, the video spread across every social media platform. Headlines exploded, "Officer detains Supreme Court judge without cause." His name was trending, but not in the way he had ever imagined. And in living rooms across the country, people watched the clip and asked the same question: how could one small piece of plastic change everything? Now, they all knew.